Before we write a single line in a purchase contract, we must understand the battlefield we are negotiating on. Contract writing in Arizona is strategy plus compliance. The strategy comes from understanding the market. The compliance comes from knowing the statutes and commissioner's rules that govern our conduct. When you combine both, you become a powerful advocate for your client. Everything in a contract, price, earnest money, inspection periods, appraisal clauses, close of escrow, possession timing, is influenced by market conditions. If you misread the market, you miswrite the contract. That can cost your client thousands of dollars and expose you to discipline under ARS, paragraph 32-2153, or violations of AAC R4-28-1101, duties to clients. Let's break this down. A. Areas. Understanding the metropolitan Phoenix marketplace. Arizona is not one market. It is dozens of micro-markets. The metropolitan Phoenix area alone contains communities with drastically different absorption rates, buyer profiles, price ranges, and development patterns. Consider the difference between a new build heavy area in Queen Creek, an established HOA subdivision in Gilbert, a luxury property in North Scottsdale, a rural horse property in Buckeye, a condo near ASU in Tempe. Each requires a different contract strategy. For example, in Queen Creek, where builders may offer $20,000 in rate buy-down incentives, a resale seller must compete creatively. Your contract writing might include seller-paid closing costs instead of a price reduction to keep the comp structure strong. In Gilbert's Power Ranch, where homes under $550,000 may average 5 to 10 days on market during peak season, buyers may need stronger earnest money and shortened inspection periods. Under ARS, paragraph 32-2156 and R4-28-1101, licensees owe reasonable skill and care. That includes understanding the area and advising accordingly. Real-life example, a Mesa buyer writes a low offer on a property that already has 2 competing offers because the agent failed to check days on market and recent sales. The buyer loses the home. That is not just poor strategy. It may be viewed as lack of diligence. Discussion. Question: if you are listing a property in Chandler where 3 comparable homes sold above list in the past 30 days, how might that influence your pricing strategy and contract terms? Answer: you may price at or slightly below market to drive competition. You may shorten acceptance timeframes, require strong earnest money, and anticipate appraisal gap discussions. Additional discussion. Question: how would your contract strategy differ between selling a $380,000 starter home in Santan Valley versus a $1.8 million luxury home in Paradise Valley? Answer: starter home market likely has broader buyer pool and higher competition. You may see escalation clauses and tighter timelines. Luxury homes may require longer due diligence, proof of funds verification, and potentially extended close timelines due to jumbo lending requirements. Understanding the area directly shapes the contract you write. B. Current market conditions. Market conditions determine leverage. In simple terms, who has the power, the buyer or the seller? Seller's market, under 3 months of inventory. Homes sell quickly, buyers compete. Appraisal gaps are common, inspection concessions are limited. Balanced market, 4 or 6 months inventory. Negotiation flexibility exists. Contingencies remain standard. Price stability occurs. Buyer's market, over 6 months inventory. Price reductions increase. Seller concessions become common. Buyers can negotiate repairs and credits. Valley example. If Peoria has 2 months of inventory and homes average 8 days on market, writing a 10-day inspection period with a 1% earnest money deposit may be too weak. If Buckeye has 7 months of inventory and 60 days on market average, a buyer might request 3% in seller concessions and a 14-day inspection period. Statutory connection, ARS, paragraph 32-2151 points, row 1, D, requires timely handling of earnest money and documents. In competitive markets, timelines compress. You must stay organized and compliant. Discussion. Question. In a seller's market, why might a buyer increase earnest money from $3,000 to $10,000? Answer. To show seriousness and reduce perceived risk to the seller. Earnest money demonstrates financial commitment. Additional discussion. Question. What risk does a buyer take when shortening the inspection period from 10 days to 5 days? Answer. Less time for due diligence, potential for missing defects, and pressure on inspectors and contractors to respond quickly. Market pressure changes contract structure. C. Market trends, direction of movement. Market trends tell us whether the market is heating up, cooling off, or stabilizing. Trends influence whether we write aggressive contracts or protective ones. Interest rates are a major factor. A 1% increase in interest rate can reduce purchasing power by approximately 8 to 10%. That impacts buyer demand and pricing momentum. If rates rise rapidly, buyers may pause. Listings increase. Concessions become more common. If migration increases, as seen during 2020-2022, demand spikes. Multiple offers increase. Appraisal gaps become normal. Case relevance. Hilvers-Jones established strong disclosure standards. When trends show declining values, disclosure of known material issues becomes even more critical because pricing pressure can expose hidden defects. Real-life example. A Scottsdale listing drops from $150,000 to $175,000 in 30 days. The trend suggests overpricing. A buyer may structure an offer below the new list price and request inspection credits. Discussion. Question. If interest rates increase by 1.5% over 60 days, how might that influence buyer contract behavior? Answer. Buyers may request rate buydowns, seller concessions, or extended close periods to shop lenders. Some buyers may exit the market entirely, increasing negotiation leverage. Additional discussion. Question. How would you advise a seller if market data shows prices flattening and days on market increasing? Answer. Price strategically at market value rather than above it. Encourage flexibility on concessions and prepare for more negotiation. Trend awareness protects clients from writing contracts based on outdated assumptions. D. Inventory and production. Inventory tells us supply. Production tells us absorption. Together, they determine negotiation strength. Example. Calculation. If Maricopa County has 5,000 active listings and 1,000 homes closed per month, that equals 5 months of inventory. Under 3 months. Strong seller leverage. 4 to 6 months. Balanced. Over 6 months. Buyer leverage. Production also affects closing timelines. During high-volume months, spring in Phoenix, lenders, appraisers, and title companies experience backlog. Writing a 21-day close-in peak season may create risk. Under R4 281101, licensees must exercise reasonable care. Writing unrealistic timelines without market awareness could expose you to complaint risk. Valley example. In April, Chandler sees 2,000 pending transactions. Appraisal turn times extend from 7 days to 14 days. A contract with a tight appraisal deadline may create avoidable breach issues. Discussion. Question. If inventory rises from 2 months to 5 months in 90 days, what contract adjustments might buyers begin requesting? Answer. Longer inspection periods, seller-paid closing costs, more repair credits, and possibly price reductions. Additional discussion. Question. Why is it risky to copy a contract timeline from last year without reviewing current production data? Answer. Because market conditions and transaction volume change. What worked in a high-demand environment may fail in a slower one. Inventory and production shape contract timelines, negotiation leverage, and risk allocation. Bringing it all together. Understanding areas, conditions, trends, and inventory allows you to advise on competitive pricing, structure earnest money strategically, draft intelligent contingency periods, Negotiate appraisal protections. Align close of escrow timelines with market realities. Contract writing is not filling blanks. It is strategic risk management grounded in Arizona law and local market data. Everything we do next in this course, offer drafting, counteroffers, contingencies, disclosures, and timelines, will build on this marketplace foundation.